Hello and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Matt, and this week we watched the 2005 musical version of The Producers.
I'm glad we watched the right one. I didn't realise the 60s one wasn't a musical until it
Yeah.
was.
Without a musical.
Yeah.
I think the way it goes is there was the 60s version, and then from that, Mel Brooks made the stage musical.
Yeah.
And then from that, he adapted this film.
And then cast it perfectly.
And then cast it perfectly.
It
Yes.
is so well casted. This film, like, I'm not normally the biggest fan of musicals, mainly because normally they're really fucking depressing. But this was on like the happy fun scale of musicals, so I actually really enjoyed this
it sure
one.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, in my opinion, the perfect film, musical to film adaptation.
Yeah, it's the best way to do it. It's the ultimate way to do it because they just kind of took what they did on stage and did it exactly the same.
It's got that,
On
they
camera.
know exactly when to set things in actual places. They know exactly when to set things on a sound stage with big sets.
Yeah.
The casting is pitch perfect.
1,000%. Like this film's so good.
Performances are all at 300% constantly.
Because
No one is giving less than 250%.
Well, because normally, like, that's how much you need to give on stage for the people at the back of the room to see.
Yes, exactly. But they're doing it in close.
Right. So it feels like they are like screaming at you all the time, and it's great.
That's what that film. That's what this film does. It yells at you for 2 hours,
And
and it's glorious.
Because even when they're just talking like normal people, they are projecting like like the mic guy is on the other side of the room.
Yeah, and the faces are going like fucking the muscles.
It's so good, and like every other musical tones it down for the film because they're like the camera's closer. We don't have to worry. This film went no. I want the camera. I want the people next door to the people watching this in their homes to know what the people are watching.
Yeah,
you perform to the person in the next room for this film. I love it. I love this film so much.
Yeah, I have no critical objectivity when it comes to this movie.
No,
there are things that we can talk about, and we probably will down the line. But up top, for me, I fucking love this film.
Had you watched it when it came out then? Oh, and what's your sort of what's your like nostalgia?
Oh, I used to watch this film like a lot.
That says so much.
It's at the point where I hadn't seen this film for years, and I put it on, and I could still sing all the songs.
Yeah.
And I watched this with a good friend of mine, and they were annoyed. I watched that. We never owned a copy, but we would rent it from the independent video store as often as I could.
Yeah, if you weren't allowed to watch Mouse Hunt, I can't imagine this was.
But this is fine because it's just it's happy, and I don't think Mum ever really stuck around to like watch it. She just wandered through. Okay, and oh, this seems musical and good.
She just
I remember
all the bits. Missed the important bits.
Yeah, I remember at one point I was sticking around for like 5 minutes. I think it was, and going, oh, this seems. It's very gay, isn't it?
Just that particular scene.
Well, the thing, because it's all incredibly gay.
Oh yeah, no,
like, there is obviously the scene with the ludicrous stereotypes.
Yeah,
but it's all very gay, and all the better for it.
It's the campest film I think I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and it's great.
Yeah, the whole film is just like you say, it's so in your face, and just like everything's at 1,000%. But. So, to go through the plot...
you're going to be here while strapping.
Okay, yeah, so Timon is a theatre producer and young Simba is an accountant. So...
Yes.
Yeah, so Nathan Lane...
we're back on the Nathan Lane bus.
Cast perfectly.
Yes.
Like every other character in this game. He is a failed... Well, he was a really good...
He's a washed up musical producer.
Yeah. And
he was very successful, and now everything he does is shit.
Yeah.
The opening number is his new play Funny Boy, which is a musical version of Hamlet.
Yeah.
Which is a very good joke. and everyone hates it.
And
It closes the night it opens. It's
Yeah.
They've
and
even
he
made a
hires-
special sign for it, so it says opening
Yeah.
night, and they just change it to closing night.
he's a joke.
Yeah.
He used to be a big shot, and now he's a joke.
Yeah. So he hires Broderick. Yeah.
Yeah,
Matthew
Matthew
Broderick,
His
Matthew
Leopold
Broderick.
Bloom.
Who is again perfectly cast.
Hmm.
To be his accountant to essentially work his books.
Yeah,
Like he wants him to fix
yeah.
it.
He wants him to fiddle the expenses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whilst he tries really not hard to not have sex with an old lady.
yeah,
Yeah, because he's got a load of like
yeah.
sugar
So that's how he
nannies.
funds his. That's how he funds his failures of musicals these days. He does it by essentially renting himself out as a gigolo to
Yeah,
old
horny-
ladies all
horny
around,
old
rich
women.
old ladies all around New York.
Yeah, and
that
they
live
give him
in,
money.
as we
Yeah.
learn later, live all in 4 separate hotels.
Yeah,
and
and all wear the same clothes.
Yeah.
And a lot of whom are men.
Yes. Yeah. So he tries to not have sex with an old lady, succeeds,
Yeah.
and then we get to like the main thing of the film. The reason we're going through this quickly is because this is a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, this is
And
a long
lot of
movie.
plot.
And it's a lot of plot. It's so much plot. You'd be like, so normally when we talk about 2-hour movies, it's boring because nothing happens for a while.
No, this
This-
is like a lot
Not
of
a
plot, but
single
also
moment in this where
yeah.
something isn't happening.
it's lots of plot, but also just padded out with the songs as well. So
Yeah. Well, the songs are part of the plot. The songs
Yeah.
are never not needed. Every song
No.
in this is
Every
perfect.
song drives the plot forward.
Yeah.
And that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's everything a good musical should be. So yeah,
Leo and Bialystok, they come up with a scheme, or Leo comes up with a scheme where you can make more money putting on a flop than a hit, because if a show's a success, you have to pay back your backers. Whereas if a show isn't a success,
you don't.
nobody cares. So
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
make as much money as you want. It fails, and then you go, you disappear.
Walk away.
yeah, because on his last failure, he had $100,000 and it only cost him $98,000, so he managed to skim the $2,000 off the top.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
because of that, he's like, oh, we could just put as
Do it
much money
bigger.
as we want into it, and then spend what we need, and then keep the rest when it's a failure.
Yeah, and so
Um,
and Nathan Lane, Bialystok, is very unscrupulous, very dishonest, and
He's a desperate
de-
guy. He's desperate.
Yeah, he's
Um,
desperate, and Leo has
and he wants-
always wanted to be a musical producer
producer,
because he's
yeah.
a banker.
But he's
in-
also incredibly neurotic and sort of prone to panic attacks.
Oh yeah, so he
in,
needs his blanket.
The weirdest interaction of anything ever I've
Yeah.
ever seen in a film.
Yeah,
Because he starts having a panic attack, so he pulls out
get
this
out his blue blanket that he's had
blue
since he was a
blanket.
baby,
and
and he
he's
sort of rubs
rubbing.
it on his face.
Oh, it's so weird. And then Nathan Lane goes to grab it, and he
And
freaks out.
Broderick goes spare.
Yeah, just starts calling him fat, which is the weirdest scene. Gets him to stand in a corner. Oh, it's so odd. And then he slaps him.
Yeah, and yes, and he's yelling about the
That
things he
didn't
is.
help.
I'm hysterical, and then he slaps him. He's going, I'm in pain, and I'm still hysterical.
And then he throws a glass of water on him. He's like, "No,
Yeah.
I'm wet and in pain and hysterical."
How do I help? Stand over there. But it's 1,000%. Like
Mm.
it's that entire scene is 1,000%, and it's great.
So much yelling.
So much yelling in like the opening 10 minutes, and then the second or third song. There are so many songs in this.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's the second big musical number.
Yeah, is
Is We Can Do It,
where
where Max tries to convince Leo to go along with the scheme, and
yes,
like chases him through New York, chases him down past Sardi's and down into whatever that park is. I don't know, New York landmarks.
but like the main problem Leo has is it's cheating. Like that's it. It's like it's cheating. It's illegal. It's not just cheating. It's incredibly illegal.
Yeah, well, and also he doesn't think he's got it in him.
Yeah,
His thing is that I'm a coward, I'm a loser. You know, I don't like this isn't my world. I'm going to go back to the horribly depressing lawyer's office with John Lovitz.
yeah.
it's such a good, which is like just
Glorious
the
cameo by John Lovitz.
It's just
Yeah.
like incredibly just monotonous and boring. It's so
I-
good, that whole sequence in the bank.
It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
well
So
staged.
good.
It's so like well choreographed and staged and timed because it's just them create like this film does a really cool thing where it creates the beat of the song using
Using
what's in the
digestive
scene.
sounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
and it does it quite a few times and it's always good.
Mm.
And then you have the song of what does he call? What does the boss call himself? Lower
Oh,
accounting.
you're a public accountant. I'm a CPA.
Yeah, you're a PA. I'm a CPA.
Yeah.
That I don't know why that listening to him say that was really satisfying. The way he was like, "You're a PA, that means you're a public accountant. You'll never get higher. I'm a CPA." It was just such a satisfying like put down.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah. Again, cast perfectly.
You couldn't think of anyone else in that role.
No.
Yeah.
So
And then he has that big sort of
Song and dance.
I want to be a producer.
Yeah.
And that sort of makes him realize that actually, yeah, being a banker is not fun.
Yeah, well, it makes him reevaluate his choices, right?
Yeah.
All done brilliantly. It all looks amazing.
Oh, it looks
Choreographed.
amazing. Yeah, the set
Perfect.
design is brilliant. All those sort of huge, like Leo blooms, all sort of in lights and very sort of lots of different layers to like the staging, you know, with chorus girls sort of all over the shop.
You get like the feeling of this. You get the feeling it doesn't actually happen, but you get the feeling of like theater moving stages.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like whenever they cut between scenes, it feels like they've moved the set around. They haven't, but you get that same like odd transition-y feeling. It's great.
Yeah, and it's a very weird, like sort of magical realism. What is real, what isn't, sort of way of doing it, because you know there's that bit, right, singing "I Want to Be a Producer" and all of the chorus girls and sort of the dancing that he does, and Matthew Broderick, good dancer, by the way, fucking keeps up with the professionals.
He's a musical guy, like he was in musicals as well.
But then it cuts back and you get that sort of minor repetition of him of the "I Want to Be a Producer." Yeah, because he's just been doodling that whole time just on this sketch pad, right?
Yeah,
and it's not been real.
Yeah.
But then when he quits and sort of stands up to John Lovitz, all the chorus girls come out of the cupboards again, and suddenly it's real because John Lovitz gets assaulted by the short ginger chorus girl.
Yeah,
which is one of the odd kind of this feels 2005.
No, it ages it. A lot of stuff in this film ages it.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot where you're like, this is brilliant, but
yeah, it's a product of it. Well, I don't even think it's a product of its time. I think it's fine. Like I don't think there's anything, because it's taking the piss out of it.
Yeah,
like it's taking the piss out of all of that stuff.
Speaking of taking the piss out of all of that stuff, they get the rights to the musical "Springtime for Hitler."
Yes, well, they're looking for. That's the scheme, right? They're looking for the worst musical ever written, the worst director of all time, the worst cast. They want to put on the worst musical ever written, and they want to raise $2 million so that they can make away like bandits.
Million.
So they find this neo-Nazi musical, "Springtime for Hitler," written by Will Ferrell.
Yeah, he was never a Nazi. He was never a member of the Nazi party.
I was only following
on.
Even though he taught his pigeons to Hitler salute.
Yeah, he's got a pigeon called Adolf that does the Nazi salute.
Yeah. See, I can't stand Will Ferrell. One of the actors that I can't stand.
Will Ferrell is a real sort of flip-floppy guy for me. In the right part, I'm like, he's genius.
Good.
But most of the time, I find him insufferable.
See, I don't think he's ever been good for me. But this is a film that he's best in because he doesn't actively make it worse for me.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think he's the least Will Ferrell in this movie.
Yeah. And him being loud is kind of the point.
Yes. And he has a very sort of strong accent. And again, like everybody else, you know, if everyone's at the same level, right? So it feels sort of more
fair. It's more like even. He doesn't stand out as much as just a guy that's screaming.
Yeah.
They're all screaming at each other.
It's all just, massively ramped up.
Yeah. And so they are trying to get him to sign, and he won't sign until they sing the Führer's favorite song, Der Guten Tag Hopklop. And then they have to take the Siegfried oath, and they have to, they put on the swastika
They've got the
armbands.
swastika armbands. And then as soon as it transitions to the next scene and they've still got them on, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, so eventually they get the contract signed.
By doing the dance.
Yeah.
By doing the dance and swearing allegiance to Hitler.
Which the dance does include a lot of them being slapped in the face by Will Ferrell and punched in the balls. Yeah,
a lot of business.
A lot of 2005 comedy in that section.
Yes, certainly.
And then it transitions to the best scene after it, like the best scene that can come after that, the only scene that can come after that, Keep It Gay.
Yeah.
Where they
go to see the director, who is lives incredibly flamboyant.
Yeah, he comes out in this big elaborate dress.
Comes out in this big elaborate gown, yeah.
Yeah, and it's great. And they're both like, where do I look? Which would feel like if it was done with like because he's never the butt of the joke.
No, that's the thing. It's one of those things where I think it really does walk the line.
Yeah.
And I know that sort of the friend I was watching it with did have a few problems with some of the scenes where they were like, it feels like the joke is that they're gay, or the joke is that, he's in a dress.
Yeah, but it was never like he was never the butt of the
But I don't
joke.
think it was ever done. Yeah, exactly. The joke is always look at how ridiculous and sort of heightened this situation is.
Everything,
And
yeah.
that's every scene. And so I think you sort of get away with it.
Yeah, it also kind of feel like this. The scene before it, there, the butt of the joke is that he's a Nazi.
Yes.
Like the whole thing is like it's ridiculous because he's a Nazi, and these producers are just sort of nodding and agreeing to essentially kind of ridicule him on stage to make the worst thing ever. Whereas like the gay scene feels more like it's like these people are like this and it's brilliant. Like they're so happy and just ready to make it.
Yes.
And it's like it's full of stereotypes because he introduces every single member of his team, like, and then we have the dancer, and then we have this, and they're all walking stereotypes.
The lighting designer, Shirley Markowitz.
Which, again, I feel so bad for laughing at, but I feel like that is a funny joke. Like that,
it is a funny joke. Done with.
It's not done with malice.
Exactly, it's done with the right kind of attitude, I guess.
It feels like it's done by someone who's not straight. It's done by someone.
Yeah.
In that community, it feels like the community kind of taking a piss out of itself.
Yes, exactly. I think that was the sense that I got.
Yeah, because it wasn't like it wasn't the main characters weren't scared or like running away or something.
No, exactly, and they were quite happy to just sort of get on with it and get into it. And Matthew Broderick, sort of eyeing up the guy dressed like the Native American chief.
Yeah,
which again. Very 2005.
Yeah, it felt
it's one of those things that sort of takes you out of it a little bit.
But like overall, the joke isn't that they're gay.
But overall, the joke is not. Yeah, look at how
stupid these people are, because everyone is that level of stupid.
Yeah,
and it just meant that they had to go like a step further to be flamboyant. Like because everyone in it is at that level. The flamboyant characters had to be 1,000.
Yeah, because Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick are already incredibly camp.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the whole thing is camp, and it's great, especially because they're straight up like, "Oh, we've read it, but it needs to be gayer." Was like the thing that they said. It's like, we read it, it needs to be gayer. What does everyone else think? It needs to be gayer. So they sing.
Yeah, they have that wonderful line in the song "Keep It Gay," where he goes, "Oedipus won't bomb if he winds up with mum."
Yeah, it's just sort of right. And they get this director who is not a great director, but unbelievably flamboyant, and all of his team. Again, with the best joke of the dancer, the joke with the dancer coming downstairs, and then he stands up and he's just got an erection.
A huge boner, yeah.
And they literally jump, like Nathan Lane and Broderick jump when he stands up. That's good. That's good comedy.
Yes.
And then so much of this film I can't remember what orders it.
The next bit is so they get that, and then they go back and they're talking about how great this flop's going to be, and nothing will ever come between them. And then Ula comes in, which is
played by Uma Thurman.
Yeah, again, perfectly cast. Does anyone remember Ula's full name? Because she says it like
Ula Inga Hansen Benson Jonsson something.
Yeah. I don't. I just
no, I don't either.
Anyone else would know. But yeah, Ula is this Swedish actress / model, beautiful person. Walks into the room, sings it. If you've got it, flaunt it.
Yeah, well, because earlier in the movie, Nathan Lane heckles a lady getting out of a car. Right, he yells down, "If you got it, flaunt it!" And then it turns out that was Ula.
Yeah,
and she wrote a song.
Yes.
And again, it's another one of those moments where it's like there's some magical sort of realism to this world.
Yeah.
Where she plays the piano and then the piano keeps playing on its own. And Nathan Lane gives Matthew Broderick a look like, the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Like it's happening in reality. It's not just musical. Like that, the piano's still playing in real life.
I love that. I think that makes this film that sort of like every now and then it steps out of reality.
Yes.
Whatever it constructs a reality, and every now and then just steps outside of that its own sort of screaming reality to just go a little bit further.
Yeah. And so Ula sings this song about not being afraid to show off your assets, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's a good song. And at some point,
it's my favorite song. It's my
she
favorite
sings
song.
and then she dances, and at some point she goes, but she doesn't really dance, right?
Yeah.
She sort of goes, now Ula dance, and then she shakes her ass for a bit and then just walks around the couch.
Yeah. And then later on goes, you remember how Ula danced before?
Yeah.
Ula's going to dance again. Which again, solid joke. And then does a backflip or something like that?
Yeah, she does some sort of acrobatic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like a foot taller than both Matthew Broderick and Nathan Lane.
And they're both immediately in love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, one of them is in love, one of them is horny.
Yeah, and they're like, she's hired, and they're like, we don't even have it like fully written out yet. Like, I don't care, she's hired.
She can work as an assistant until she's an actress.
Yeah.
Well, he says like, what do you do in the morning? She's like, at 5 a.m. I wake up and work out for 2 hours, 5 until 6, and then 6 until 7 I eat breakfast, and then 7 till 8 I take a long shower.
And then eventually it gets to 11 o'clock.
So what do you do at 11?
Julia likes to have sex.
Have sex.
What time?
Coming in at 11 then.
Yeah, 11.
Coming in at 11 then. And then she vanishes and
the thing about this movie is it is one of the horniest movies alive, but
100%.
also completely sexless.
Yeah, because the entire next scene is about Max trying to like, he goes around fucking all the old ladies to get all their money.
Like 50 old ladies to get $2 million. But at no point do you ever feel like anyone's actually even close to having sex.
No,
right?
the only scene that actually seems like it is when Matthew Broderick and Ula are like behind the sofa. And even then you find out they didn't actually, because of one of the reveals at the end. He wanted them to get married before they had sex.
Yeah. So well, first of all, Matthew Broderick described for being in love, and Nathan Lane goes, "It's an erection." And he's like, "It feels like a volcano inside of me of just warmth and heat and fire." He goes, "That's an erection." In the most I've never heard anyone do an imitation of Nathan Lane. It's he has such a unique voice.
Yes, very difficult to do.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And again, like, it's one of the reasons he's perfectly cast, because it's that, like, it cuts through everything.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a great voice.
No, but
it works for the role.
So memorable.
Because he's perfect, because he's great at slapstick, he's great at pratfalls, he's great at yelling. He can sing well enough to get through the songs he needs to get through.
Well, he sings he sings in character.
Yes.
Every time I've ever seen him perform a song, he sings in character. And this type of musical needs that. Like, there's a bits where Uma Thurman sings. She doesn't sing as Ula.
Yeah.
And it kind of, like, you feel a bit out of it when she belts. It's kind of like, okay, that's a singer singing. But then you get back to, like, Ula singing. You're like, cool, it's back in. You do get the great joke before where Ula belts, where she goes, Ula is going to belt now. And then Ula belts. Brilliant writing, that is. Yeah, and then after that scene, Nathan Lane goes and fucks a load of old women.
Yeah, he fucks all the old women. That's when Ula paints the apartment white, and her and Matthew Broderick.
But again, like,
sex.
it's set up as this musical number, where he's getting into character, and he puts on the red suit, and then he just goes and he conducts this sort of army of old ladies.
And you get the music again, where the Zimmer frame makes the beat.
Yeah,
yes,
and that bit,
it's so good.
Shot, that long shot where he's running along the line of old ladies, grabbing, and every time he grabs a check out of their hands, they sort of fall over, and the Zimmer frame sort of, and this long line of old ladies that are just flat on the floor is incredible choreography.
That's the best choreographed scene for me.
Yeah.
That, like, because it's outside, it's all like a lot of movement and a lot of camera movement, but there's a lot of camera movement, but it's always shot. Whenever they do the musical numbers, the camera never stops being from one position.
Yeah, it shoots flat as if you're watching it on a stage.
Yeah, and that's a really good strength to this, because it never cuts to close-ups or anything. It's always shot from one angle, as if you're watching it.
Yeah.
As an audience. And that's brilliant, because that's what makes it feel like a musical. That's what makes it feel less of a film and more of a musical. It just so happens that they're screaming at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he gets his $2 million, and he does the little bit where he gives it a little kiss, and he's like, "No one knows what I had to do to make you," because Ula knows to fuck every old lady in New York.
Yeah. And then Ula paints the house, the office
completely white. Yes.
Yeah, because she decided to skip sex.
Yeah.
They're both very disappointed.
And is that when Ula and Bloom get together?
Yes, it is, because he throws out his blanket in that scene
Yes,
as well.
because they do that face, right? And they have a nice little ballroom dance in the white office.
Yeah.
And then they kiss, and he drops the blue blanket into the trash.
Yeah, it's a really
Yeah.
nice scene, that, actually. Like, I really
It
like
is a
the
nice
lighting
scene.
in that, because as they're dancing, like, the office is like being lit by what looks like stage lights, so it's going like blue and all different colors.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Hmm.
Like,
It's a lovely little scene. And then we cut to the Hitler audition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the auditions for Hitler. Where
A
it's
load
just a
of
bunch
Hitlers
of mental
walking
old
about.
men trying to like audition for Hitler.
Yeah, and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they need someone who's not a short, stumpy, weird man, but they want someone powerful, and so Will Ferrell ends up getting the part because he's like, no, do it like this.
Yeah, he's like,
Haben
do
Sie
it
gehört,
now.
das Deutsche Band.
Yeah.
Yeah. And throughout the film, Will Ferrell was like, the deal is you can't make a joke out of Hitler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't dishonor. That's part of the Siegfried Oath, right?
Yeah, you can't
never,
dishonor
never,
Hitler.
never
Yeah,
dishonor the spirit and the memory of Adolf Elizabeth Hitler.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, because she was descended from a long line of English queens.
Yeah. With this film, do you reckon so America doesn't have that much of a negative? Well, it has a negative connection to the Nazis. Literally everywhere does from that era, historically.
Yeah.
But I don't think this film would work in England, being made in England, because there is such a historical thing there. That it needs that level of disconnection that is in America.
I don't know. It's an interesting question because obviously it's a satire written by a Jewish person
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
who
it's fully a
arguably have
satire.
the biggest sort of connection.
No, yeah, but it needs that
You think it needs that sort of little bit of detachment?
yeah, in that sort of setting. If it was set in England, if it was set in England, it would be completely different.
Yes.
There's that
Yeah, because America wasn't blitzed by the Nazis,
yeah,
whereas London very much was. So
yeah,
it-
the sort of there is a level of not far connection. I'm not saying America doesn't have a history with Nazis, because America has a fucking long history with Nazis. But there is that level of disconnect in the same way that it wouldn't work in France.
Sure.
yes,
Yeah.
There isn't that thing. That was just a thought that came to me.
It's an
Because-
interesting thought.
But the dance song and dance about Hitler, because you're not allowed to dishonor him.
Yeah.
Which is great, because it's again great when they say you're not allowed to dishonor him straight into make it gay.
Yes.
Brilliant, to prove that they are just laughing at the Nazis.
Yep, because then it's opening night. They're all ready for the show, and they keep saying good luck to each other because it's bad luck.
I'd like to say good luck on opening night. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a great song because Broderick is being taught not to say good luck.
Yeah.
And it's intercut with
Nathan Lane saying good luck and moving
Good
like
luck.
the ladder.
Yeah.
and everyone getting
My
upset.
favourite bit
swinging
is
a
when he's
cat.
moved the ladder and then he swings the cat around and chucks it through the ladder.
Yeah.
He smashes the mirror as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then immediately Will Ferrell breaks his leg.
Breaks his
kind of
leg.
like his scenes in Austin Powers where off
Yeah.
screen you hear him breaking his
You
legs.
go,
Well, yeah.
break a leg. I broke my
He
leg.
falls downstairs.
Very
Okay,
funny.
I broke my leg.
So they end up getting Roger, the
So
the
yeah,
very
Roger,
gay director, to
the very
be Hitler.
flamboyant director has to be Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Springtime for Hitler.
And then we
the
have
opening number.
John Barrowman.
John
Yes.
Barrowman, who I thought was in this more.
Yeah, I thought he had a big part in this, but no, he was just a very Aryan man.
He was
Yeah.
the Aryan guy.
He looks really
in
weird
this
with
film.
blonde hair. I'm
He
too
does
used
look
to
weird
him
with
as
blonde hair.
I'm used to him as Captain Jack Harkness. I've not really seen him in anything else.
Mm.
He doesn't have blonde hair in a lot of other stuff.
So.
Yeah, the musical. And I think in the stage show you get to see a lot more of the musical.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I've never seen.
Yeah, because you don't see
I
that
can
much of it.
imagine.
But
No,
like,
you see
as-
like the opening number and then you see the end, I think maybe.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
as the opening number's starting, they're watching it, and all the people are starting to get pissed off and starting to leave. So
Yes.
the two main characters, the producers, are like, "Oh, we're gonna get out of here before they try and kill us." And so they miss the bit where when Hitler comes out and it becomes a lot gayer, all the
Yeah.
audience start laughing because they're like, "Oh, this is satire."
No, they love it, yeah.
Now we're laughing at Hitler. Like,
Mm.
Something I really really appreciate and love about and I think shows how well written it is when they do Springtime for Hitler. It's the opening number to the musical. It's an opening number.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like an opening number to the film because it's near the end of the film. It does. There's no like weird energy to it. It fits really well.
Yeah.
Yes.
It suits
as like
that
a
scene
middle
perfectly.
song.
And it's got such like just how insanely over the top they go with the Nazi stuff makes it even better. Like having the choreography where they're dancing in a swastika line is amazing.
Yeah. And they have the huge costumes that the chorus girls are wearing with like a pretzel and a big sausage hats.
And they're wearing like
and they come out in like dressed as tanks.
And then they have the whole goose stepping bit and they're all wearing the massive leather boots and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just a huge production of people taking the piss out of the Nazis.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things where you sort of go, "Oh, is this a little bit like it's the reason that it starts being funny because it's a gay Hitler?" And is that a little bit? I'm honestly not sure.
I think it's because he'd have hated that so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which makes it better.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
He would have hated it being portrayed as a very camp person for sure.
Yeah.
But there's, I don't know. I think there is something that's slightly uncomfortable about it. Becomes funny because Roger is.
I think it's
being a stereotypical gay person.
I think it's funny because Hitler's gay, not funny because Roger is gay.
And I think what makes that okay, what bridges that into like this is funny because it's taking the piss out of Hitler, not because he's acting gay, is the actual Nazi in the film is upset about it.
Yes.
He is aware. He's not upset that Hitler was in the film. He's upset that they made Hitler camp a fabulous gay man. Like they made him that kind of over the top character. He's upset because it's not respecting Hitler enough. So you're like, doesn't fucking matter then. Because at no point does it present being gay as bad.
That's bad. No, exactly.
It presents being a Nazi as bad.
Yes, and that's
you
important.
can't argue with.
Or shouldn't, at the very least.
People do.
Yeah, because when he goes in after it's a success and he goes in to try and kill them, and he's like, "You made a fool out of Hitler," and they're like, "He didn't need our help."
Yeah.
And then immediately after that, you get another amazing line when the police are coming in, and he's like, "Quick, darling, back in the closet."
Yeah,
and they both run
in. Yeah, and out of all of them, I think it's good. It's Franz Liebken is the most sort of like ineffective. His show is completely not how he wanted it to be. He can't shoot anybody. He has 2 broken legs.
He even tries to shoot himself. And he throws a gun down
failure
their
of a
fires.
person. Yeah. And he gets a happy ending, which again, slightly odd, but he is. If anyone's the butt of the joke, it's always
him. Yeah. Because from this, Bialystok gets arrested, but Leo and Ula manage to like get away because Leo's hiding behind the door.
Being caught on the door or with like a coat.
Yeah. So he ends up going to prison and does a little recap of the entire movie.
Yeah,
so
he just does the whole plot in case we've forgotten, and I love it.
You've missed another. I mean, it's 2 hours long. You might have forgotten. You missed another bit where when the Nazi breaks in and is like preparing to shoot people, he said Nathan Lane says, "Go and shoot the actors."
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And Robert's like, "You can't shoot the actors; they're people." And the best response, which is, "Have you had dinner with them?" No, they're not. Have you ever had dinner with an actor?
Yeah, because he just wants to get away with all of his money, but instead he gets arrested, and Leo and Ula get all $2 million.
Yeah, and go to Rio.
And then he recaps the movie.
He's like, he's like, my life's flashing before my eyes. He's like, wait, I've not even done that. This is somebody else's life.
My name's Jeff. This is his life.
Leo's taken everything from me, even my past. It's such a good song. That's I think Betrayed is my favorite in the film.
Yeah, it's
because it tells you the whole film.
Because it is the whole film.
Yeah. It's a nice sort of wrap up, and then he ends up in court, and then Leo comes in. He's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I was in Rio." And
they make that huge sort of like bombastic Latin music playing entrance, and they both got like matching suit and dress on,
really tanned.
They
sort of
speak on his behalf.
Yeah, and they sing that sort of really quite touching song.
that ends with them still all going to prison.
Yeah, where it's like, but it's it genuinely is like, oh, we were two sort of misfits who
they're friends.
didn't have any but now we found each other, and it's really nice. And then the judge goes, I hate to break up such a beautiful friendship, so I won't, you're both going to fucking prison.
Sing prison for 5 years.
And they're still running the scam in prison. They've just written a new show.
Roderick gets his dream of becoming a musical producer. Like he does it, and he does exactly what Lane is doing in the beginning. He becomes. There is no arc for these people. They
learn nothing.
They learn. They learn nothing.
At the end, they're successful anyway.
They're successful because they're like, they start making money to put on the play Prisoners of Love in prison, but they manage to get more money than they need, and they're like, keep going.
Is it, how much have you sold? 600%.
Oh, keep
going.
Yeah.
And then they get out, they get let out for good behavior or whatever he says.
It's because they've brought joy and singing and dancing to the prisoners, and they've brought them joy. There's a fantastic joke where they're doing the rehearsal and they're singing "The Prisoners of Love," and Nathan Lane goes, "Just the murderers." And it's like, no knife fights during rehearsals, guys.
And then it sort of seamlessly transitions into Prisoners of Love on Broadway.
This massive stage production.
You sort of cut to Leo and Max, and Leo. It's been a running theme that Leo wants to wear Max's second hat, and Max won't let him until he's put on a play. That's a producer's hat. And so in the end, Max gives him the hat, puts it on, and they sing a little recap.
I loved all the extra plays that were coming up that showed they were putting on like A Streetcar Named Desire on Ice.
And again, that's a really nice, because it comes up with sort of the CGI name of the play, and then it flies onto the billboard.
And it's on all the
street, and it lights up, and you get that sort of pan away drone shot. Probably not a drone in 2005, but
probably
that sort of pan away aerial shot of Broadway.
The actual production of this movie was amazing.
It was so good.
I'm surprised we've managed to get through all the plot in this
we
time.
We've
skipped a lot.
Like, we could have gone into a lot more detail for every song. Well, we can't, because it's good. Like, what do you say about this song? It's good.
Exactly.
The only thing is like
all good.
The only thing you can really talk about is does it make being gay the butt of the joke? Not really.
Not really.
It makes being a Nazi the butt of the joke. Which good.
Does it heroize Nazis? No, they're the idiot. There's one of them, and he's an idiot, and he's played by Will Ferrell.
He's got a load of pigeons.
And one of them does a Nazi salute.
So
I love this film.
I guess out of 10, if you were going to rate it, how many pigeons doing a Nazi salute would you give this Because I'd probably give this 8 out of 10 slaps in the face. Because the amount of characters that get slapped in the face throughout this. But all the songs were great. The production was great. Every single character was perfectly done. I really enjoyed this film.
I genuinely I did my best to sort of approach it with a critical eye and make notes and so on. But it's such a joyful film for me. I will never be able to look at it with any sort of objectivity at all.
You get you get the nostalgia goggles that
it's a delight for me. It is 10 dresses that make you look like the Chrysler Building out of 10.
See, I came into it being like, I want to see if this film is offensive, because I'd seen it before. I vaguely remember it. No, I don't have that much nostalgia for it, but I was like, I know what this film's about, and that can go very, very badly. Didn't. It's it hits all the right notes. It sells just the perfect amount of camp. It never makes the wrong people the butt of the joke. It's a really good example of how to tell quote unquote offensive comedy. How to do edgy stuff is watch the producers. That's how you tell edgy humor.
Because it's never punching down at people, and it's never the characters that aren't gay that are making jokes about the gay people and stuff like that as well.
It's never done with
malicious intent.
Or even mean spirited, right? There's no mean spirited joke in this entire thing. Except maybe the one with the chorus girl one in the banking scene, which but for 2005. Fucking hell.
I read a thing where someone said I was reading like a review before I watched it just to be I wonder what people are saying.
Yeah.
Whilst like the opening was happening, and this person said it's like both a parody and a loving tribute to musicals.
Yes.
And by the end of it, I was like, yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
how you sum up the producers. It's a parody, but it's also like it loves what it's doing.
Mm.
And it's great. But yeah, if I didn't say it, a 9 out of 10. 9 make it gays out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? You sort of look at it and you go, well, what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
And what could be wrong with it is that you just don't like the style of it, right?
Yeah,
if
that's
you don't
kind of
vibe with that very, very over the top,
screaming in your face.
1000% in your face style, if you don't like that kind of musical, then it's not for you. But in terms of what it sets out to do, what does it do wrong? And the answer is nothing. I don't
Yeah,
think.
Exactly.
For what it is, it's a perfect film.
If you prefer your musicals being about a bunch of sad French people, then it's not for you.
God, I can't believe you talk about Grease like that.
And also, yeah, and there's a bunch of non-musical theatre people in there, a bunch of regular actors, and they all do a good job. There's not a Gerard Butler among them.
Wow, there was no need for that.
Wait, was Gerard Butler in? I thought it was Russell Crowe that's in them.
Russell Crowe as well, but Jerry Butler does Phantom of the Opera very badly.
Oh, he's in Phantom. Okay, fair enough. I was also thinking
Phantom.
of what's the other bad one?
Phantom.
Who's the bad one in Mamma Mia?
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan.
He's
Any
not
of them?
bad. He's not
Anyone
bad.
apart
How
from
dare
Meryl
you?
Streep?
He's not bad. How dare you? That film is also perfect.
That film is also perfect.
Okay, yeah, no, it's-
Second one
Also, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we could go through the entire cast of Cats apart from one of them, which
James
is...
Corden, of course, the
Yeah.
world's best actor.
Yes, everyone's favourite man, James Corden.
Everyone's favorite
Everyone's
man, James
favorite
Corden.
guy, James Corden. The most common film mistake people make is they put James Corden in their film.
Yeah,
If James Corden was in this, if this was made now and they put James
They would
Gordon
put
in the
James
they
Bialystok role,
absolutely would as well.
Yeah,
James
I-
Corden
would be
Nathan Lane's character.
Nathan Lane.
yes,
Yeah, it'd be bad.
And it would
It'd be
suck.
it would
so
be
bad.
fucking awful. It would
Oh,
get.
what? How we have? Okay, so we have the best cast of this film. Is the film that was made.
Yes.
What's our worst cast? Who can we put in it that's just like would just kill the film?
Well, I mean, obviously,
Ricky-
yeah, James Corden as
James
Ricky
Corden-
Gervais as the accountant, because Ricky Gervais also
would
plays
Ricky
Ricky Gervais and James Corden are maybe the
worst combination. I can
worst
think
people
of.
alive.
Yeah,
Yeah, but does he fit? Does Ricky Gervais fit the character though?
I
No.
don't think
He'd
he,
fit
Gervais
Nathan
he
Lane.
can be the Nazi because I don't know. No, he'd enjoy that too.
I don't
much.
think he even really fit. I don't think Ricky
No.
Gervais really fits anywhere in the movie.
No.
He'd
That's
fit
how
as
bad
Nathan
he
Lane's
is.
character. Well, he'd fit as Nathan Lane's character.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
But that's about the only. But James Corden would be far worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
For the accountant, let's just get a real accountant, I guess.
Because you can have good actors, but they wouldn't fit the role.
Yeah, you need the bad actors.
Wouldn't? Yeah. Well, no, because you could put like
Mm.
genuinely quite entertaining actors. Like you could put, say, Ryan Reynolds in that role.
Yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
he'd do it all
I think
right.
that might be like one of those ones where you're like, that's
bad.
bad. Exactly.
But,
yeah.
but I'm sure he'd like act it fine, and he'd
Yeah.
be funny. But,
But it would be bad.
Yeah, it
I
would be
I
bad.
reckon in that case Ryan Gosling would be pretty good as the accountant character.
Yeah. No, Ryan Gosling would work.
Yeah.
'Cause especially if they made it now, because they'd be like, we need someone like he needs to be.
Oh
a
God, it
super
would be Chris
attractive man.
Pratt, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would be Chris Pratt.
He'd
It would
be
be
the
James
Nazi.
Corden and
No.
Chris Pratt would be
Yeah.
the main
I think
characters.
Chris Pratt would be the Nazi.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe. No, I don't think they would let. I don't think.
Is it too on the nose?
I think he's. Yeah. I mean, I think he's too bankable, right?
Yeah, you need
I
someone
don't think the
that's like
studio are going to want Chris Pratt playing a Nazi.
no. Yeah, they
I think.
probably
I
make
think
him.
he's Leo, and James Corden is Bialystok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like Scarlett Johansson would be the
would be Ula.
Ula. Again, she wouldn't be awful. Like
No.
she'd be fine because I think she can also sing. But
Yeah, she can. Yeah.
again, wouldn't work.
No,
And it's amazing how well cast this film is.
Would they put Andy Samberg in Will Ferrell's role?
Yes.
Yes,
no, that'd be
definitely,
it. It'd be Andy
100%.
Samberg. This film's just good.
yeah.
It is
film
just a good
just
film.
good.
I had a
And
good time
funny.
with this. Like yeah, to begin with, when they were first screaming at each other, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. But then just like
So
within like 5 minutes, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm in. Even though it was like just over 2 hours long, it didn't feel it.
It really
yeah.
doesn't.
for
It
me.
flies
No,
by.
it goes like I paused it at one point and I was like, oh wow, it's been an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
genuinely
mad.
think you can you can watch 10 seconds of this movie and you know if you're going to love it or not.
Yes,
Yeah.
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 All you
'cause
have to do is listen to 10 seconds of that overture, that bum ba dum bum ba dum bum ba dum bum,
Yeah.
and you
And-
know whether it's for you or not.
Or even like when it gets to the acting, the screaming,
Yeah,
it's at that energy. That isn't like opening energy and then it chills
it
out.
never
No,
stops.
No.
It never chills out.
It's that energy until Betrayed.
Yeah.
Betrayed is the only right near the end of the film. It's the only time the film relaxes.
Yeah. Even if you've got to this point in the podcast and you haven't watched the movie yet,
Oh,
you'd
watch the
still go
film.
watch it. Go
It's
Yeah,
watch
we
worth
haven't
it.
spoiled it for you because nothing can
Nothing's
prepare
shocking.
you for the assault on your senses that is the producers.
Yeah, in the best
possible way.
in a
Yeah.
great way. Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, it's 2 hours. We've had films where it's like we've turned it on and been like, oh god, it's 2 hours foot long, and I had that dropping horror when I turned it on because I was like, oh no, it's 2 hours long. And then I started watching. I was like, no, I like this.
Yeah.
I'm here for this to be I'm glad this is 2 hours
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
It's a surprisingly tight film for 2 hours 15 minutes, and it feels it like it's edited at such a pace.
Such a
Ed-
pace.
again,
Yeah, but
the
the
edit-
shots linger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, it's not frenetically edited.
no, the editing is at the same level as the rest of it, which is 1000%. Because when it cuts, it cuts. It's such a sharp cut to the next scene.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's not a lot of like
No,
crash
it's not
zooms
no.
and really fast cutting. You know, they hold a shot for
Yeah.
20, 30 seconds at a time.
And
Yeah.
then the
Crazy in today's world.
yeah,
Yeah,
the only other time you get it sort of relax a bit is during the credits, and then even then there was a post-credit scene, and it's just all them going, "Go home, it's over."
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mel
like,
Brooks
just-
telling you to fuck off.
Yeah,
It's Ferris
Yeah.
Bueller.
yeah,
and I think again, it's the best way to make a musical film is
Yeah.
with the same energy and style
Yeah,
as the musical.
as a
Don't make it
musical,
a
yeah.
film. Don't make it a film.
make it a bunch of weird CGI people with cat buttholes. Make it a musical.
But also, like, don't make it a film. Make it
Yeah.
a musical.
Yes.
Just film it like it's a musical.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, film all the songs like they're a musical, not like they're a music video.
Yeah.
Like, it's how you make good musicals, and I wish people would do it more often.
Yeah.
Exactly.
'Cause, like,
I think
Hamilton,
Hairspray, for example.
Hamilton in this style would be great
Yes.
as
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
film with all the like intricate choreography, with like the non-musical bit. If there is no musical bits in a musical, film that like a normal film.
Sure.
Yeah,
The
but
rest
the
of it-
musical bits, you want it to look like a stage production, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the best takeaway.
Yeah. So, with that bit of great advice for people who are in Hollywood wanting to make
Making
musicals that are
musicals.
listening, I've been
Yeah.
Dan.
If we do anything on this podcast, we give unneeded advice to people that know more than us.
Yes, exactly. That's what people who make movie podcasts do.
And that's what I do professionally, and I've been Michael.
And I've been Matt, the third bearded white man on this film.
Where else can people find you, Matt?
You can find me by Googling Matt's Music House. I stream on Twitch, make music. I have a comedy music album on Spotify, which is better than That Makes It Sound. I also have a podcast called Pointless Reinvention with my good friends Mac and Holly, who have both also been on this very podcast.
Yeah. You can find this podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord as well. Anyway, you get your podcast, leave us a review. Let us know what you think of the producers. Go and watch it, and then let us know if you enjoyed it. The answer will probably be yes.
Ferris
Yeah.
Bueller.